This is a demonstration of the Lettine Radio Model 242 6 meter VHF transmitter. It's a tube radio. On the front here we have 3 switches. This is to turn it on. This is to choose between meters. You can choose the grid meter or the plate meter. This turns on the carrier. Here's the audio drive. Oscillator tuning, driver tuning. This is the crystal socket. It is a little bit damaged on the bottom. There's a chip there. This is to tune the final. This is where you put the antenna. This is kind of odd. This moves the antenna in or out of the circuit. There's a little coil in there that moves back and forth. Here's the microphone input. And I have a crystal here for 50.7. Took away my receiver I was monitoring on this, but might bring it back later on. There's the antenna hookup. Here is a meter I just put on top to monitor it. I got it hooked up to a 6 meter dipole out in the yard, so this is going to go out over the air. I have a dummy load, but it doesn't seem to have good SWR. So I'm going to turn the carrier on. I'll put it in grid. I've already got it tuned up, so you can see it went up here to 30 watts. If you can see that. I tuned this up. I tuned this up for maximum. That doesn't seem to be moving the meter above. That does 30 watts. I got about 40 out last night, and it's the audio drive, and of course the microphone. Oh, you didn't see that. I just plugged the microphone in there. That's where that goes, and this is the microphone I have for it. Let's try to get it in the camera range here. Look at that tall. That thing's tall. So I'm going to get it set up with a receiver so you can hear it. Before I do that, I'll show you the cabinet. It comes with this quality tag. Nothing's on it. Here's the top. It's in spectacular shape. You can open it up. You can see down in there. And there's this little sticker there. I wrote down what it says. It says, keep cool. Do not use 6L6s in place of 6V6s or 12AX7 in place of 12AT7, or power transformer will be overloaded. I did a tube check in here, which you'll see in part 2, and I didn't see the 12AT7. These are 5763s, and the one there with the metal cover, I couldn't read what it was. But it doesn't overheat. I'll roll it around. Here's the back, also in really nice shape. There is some rust on the bottom. There's some rust on the bottom. Now I'll show you the inside. Here we have a look inside of the Lettine 242 6 meter transmitter. And you can see 3 transformers there. You can see the back of the meter. This here is the back of that antenna in out switch. You can see what it does. Inserts a pickup coil of some sort. This one has the odd wire sticking out the back with the electrical tape on it, like Terry has in his video that I mentioned in the link below. There's also a wire coming out of that grommet going to ground on the chassis, and in Terry's video I saw that was just floating loose inside the chassis. Here's an accessory plug with some writing on it. For the tube layout, we have a 5U4G, a 6146, a pair of 5763s. Over here, this tube I could not make out looking at the glass what it is. Here's a 6V6 metal and a pair of 6V6 GTs. So that's the top side. Now I will flip it over and show you the chassis. Here we have the underside of the chassis of the Lettine 242 6 meter transmitter. You can see the big yellow caps. Those are the original ones for the power supply. However, I do notice that several capacitors have been changed on this radio. Here's one. There's one tucked down in there. Here's one. There's a couple more tucked down in there. There's one over there. So somebody's been in here making improvements. Not sure why they didn't do these big ones, but seems to work well otherwise. So that is the underside. So now I'll do a little audio demonstration of the Lettine radio model 242 6 meter VHF transmitter. On that little radio on the right, it's tuned to NPR. It's plugged into the radio. There's a receiver and an external speaker. It's the ICOM ICR75. I don't use it very much. I thought this might be a good time to break it out. Number 4 is about as high as this will go before distortion.
With Hiram Crow, a Texas billionaire. Durbin says, quote, "The time has come for a new public conversation on ways to restore confidence in the court's ethical standards." And he notes
there is a hum. I'm wondering if it's just because the two radios are so close to each other, or if it's normal. I was receiving a hum from my modern transceiver that was just as loud, so it could be just that the radios are too close. I'm going to try to do a QSO next with this to see if anybody can monitor the hum. And we'll plug in the microphone. Put that about 4. Might have to turn the volume up. Let's see. Hello, CQ, 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 CQ. Here's Alpha Alpha 1 Sierra Uniform. Alpha Alpha 1 Sierra Uniform. Alpha Alpha 1 Sierra United calling CQ, CQ, CQ. Let's turn the squelch back off in case somebody comes back. Yeah, I had it up a little higher. That's not an amplified mic like the radio's amplified. So that's a little demonstration of the audio. Here, I'll pull out the microphone. Just let you listen to the hum by itself. It's not too bad at normal levels. So that's a demonstration of the audio coming out of that radio. Okay, I just made an antenna change, and the hum is quite a bit reduced. So in the last clip, this had a mag mount behind it in the room. It's a MFJ 2 meter / 6 meter mag mount that is tucked in the background. Now I have an antenna switch. It's hard to see here. I'm getting ready for a sked. So I can switch between radios with the antenna switch. It's hard to see, but it's right there. So now if I transmit the hum, it's quite a bit less. Of course, it's attenuated, but that's what I'm hoping will happen when I go out over the air. You can hardly hear it now, unless I go all the way up. So there you have it, a little overview of the Lettine Model 242 6 meter VHF transmitter. I could not find a whole lot of history about this on the web. Best I could find was one web page said that their radios were made around 1961. It was done by a father and son team at a house in Valley Stream, New York, on Long Island. I did find one ad on the web right here, and at the bottom it actually says the address in Valley Stream. And this must be from QST. It doesn't say it's from QST, but you can see highlighted there, it says Vermont. I'm in Vermont, and this is the section manager news that would be in QST back in the day. I'm the section manager here in Vermont now. So it was a weird coincidence that that the Vermont section news was on this little ad. And you can see there was Mrs. Harriet Proctor, and she talked about what news was going on for the past month in Vermont. And I noticed a call sign I highlighted there, K1AUE. That belongs to a friend of mine that passed away a few days ago. Ben Lamb passed away a few days ago. He lives a few blocks from me, and he was a wealth of knowledge when I wanted to go to him for help. So probably the same guy, but I'm not positive. I'm not sure if he had a vanity call, but I think it is. So I hope you enjoyed that. And in part 2, you're going to see me have a QSO with a local ham. And you get he does a nice report on how I sound, and he sent me a recording back, and I had a few issues, and if I can figure out a way to make that recording go into the video, I will. Thanks for watching.